There's a disease in the ummah. There's a huge issue that we are suffering from. There's a big epidemic that is hitting the youth, and that is the epidemic of pornography. Husbands, wives are watching pornography. Children, youth, students of knowledge are touched by this disease. You know, it's splitting families, it's destroying lives of people. People are losing their jobs, and not just that, people are losing their deen. You are watching something that is haram, you're watching some images, some videos that subhanAllah are forbidden, and not just that it causes you to lose your deen or subhanAllah, as if there will be something little, but it's actually changing your psychology, the way you think about sex.
If your brain learns to be aroused by watching other people have sex, it is not necessarily going to carry over to the ability to get aroused when you're one-on-one with somebody else, right? Especially young kids who are consuming a lot of pornography, the brain is learning sexual arousal to other people having it.
You see what's wrong with the world today? I mean, we see 12-year-old girls taking off their clothes because they see TikTok and movies and all of society programming them to believe that if they take off their clothes, they're more valuable. We see all these rappers and songs that all of us used to start banging our heads to, and people still do, talking about just doing disgusting and heinous things to women, treating them horrendously, objectifying them further and further and further. And I'm not even gonna start with the epidemic of porn. It's disgusting how many young little brothers of ours and our own minds have been warped. We believe that something that Allah made so beautiful, like sex between a man and a wife, they've made it disgusting. And frankly, porn is just consensual rape. If you really look at it objectively, it's consensual rape. That's what they're teaching us that this beautiful thing is. That we should hurt each other in the process. This is disgusting. If only we could control our desires and put a leash on all the men of this nation, what do you think would happen? What do you think the effect would be on the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam if we could just control these desires? What do you think would happen to you if you could lower your gaze? Would you be closer to Allah? Would you have more closeness to Him instead of feeling so far away? Would you be able to have less shame and actual self-respect for yourself? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nur verse 30, tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their chastity. This is a direct order from Allah for us to not do this. This is a direct order for us to lower our gaze, not to engage in this disgusting filth that's been pushed to the youth and to the entirety of society. May Allah protect us. And if you stick with me for the next around about 20-30 minutes, I'll give you the exact way for you to become a better man and to get closer to Allah by destroying this crap from your life, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. And before that, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sultan. I make videos for brothers who want to progress in the deen and the dunya. And if you like this type of content of Islamic self-improvement and improving for the sake of Allah, then subscribe inshallah, because you'll get more content like this, full guides giving you exact protocols on how to become a better rajul for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you want to join like-minded brothers like yourself, there's a Discord link down below and other links to other things that I offer, bi'idhnillah, if you want to check that out. Chapter 1 is the mindset. Number 1 point, not lowering the gaze, it's gay. It's gay. I know it makes no sense that looking at women in an indecent manner is gay, but it is. I told the story before. I was in Cape Town with some friends and we were just walking around the beach and they literally started just staring at these women at the beach. And not just staring, like I obviously looked away, I went away, I thought like, you know, I don't want to stare at them, it's haram. And they were like super annoyed that I was doing that, and they just started laughing with each other, my two friends, and just talking about these girls over there. And then they start taking Instagram stories of the beach. We know they're taking Instagram stories of the beach and just staring and videoing them and talking about them. And it's like, they don't even know they exist. This lady's just doing her own life, bro. But these guys are just laughing and talking and speaking of this woman in a decent manner. Like, it's gay, it's weak. This is not manly at all. If talking about girls and how pretty they are is manly, like, why would Allah tell you not to? Because this is a cultural thing that I see all the time and it's really annoying me. It's not manly. It doesn't make you a man to talk about how cool and sexy girls are. This is gay. It's gay. You're weak enough that you can't even control yourself. May Allah protect us. Eating habits affect our physical, literal health. Like if we eat McDonald's every day, you know what's gonna happen, right? The same way that our seeing, our hearing, and what we say affects our spiritual health. Because it affects our heart. I mean, literally what we say, do, and hear can affect the way that we worship Allah and the connection we have with Him. So why would we want to affect that? Just by looking at this thing that Allah tells us not to look at. Life is a test. That's literally the whole point we're here is to worship Allah, and we have this test and we have to not break the rules so that we can go to Jannah. That's the whole point. That's the whole shtick. Like, think of a bank account. Why would you gain an expense on your afterlife just to look at something that's not even nice. So I get it, but my point is like, it's not even like, it doesn't do anything to you. Like the other day, like, I was out with my family and stuff, and there was maybe like 20 girls that were like, because of course it's summer here in South Africa, 20 girls that I had to like freaking stare at I was probably 90 degrees 100% of the time, just staring at the ground almost all the time. What if I hadn't stared at the ground? What if I actually allowed myself and didn't restrain myself? I'd have 20 sins on my account. Imagine if that's the reason I don't go to heaven. Just because I couldn't control my eyes. May Allah protect us. But this is very serious. And it's gay. So why are we doing it? There's so many other things that are harder to control, and we're all getting stumped by this thing. We can fix it. It's not impossible. So you can either take this test from Allah, that He's trying to see what you're going to do and you become a man and you control yourself, or you can take your desires as your Lord. This is what most people do. But we want to be different. We want to be men. And sometimes we may fall, victim to that. We're not perfect at all. But I'm saying, if we want to really take control of this, we got to seriously make a decision. Every single time Allah will give us this test, because He's testing us for a reason. We will not make it that we have a weighty account that will be in the bad books, but will be in a good one, because you restrained yourself. May Allah make it easy for us. I'm not here to bash you. I'm not here to make it like you're stupid and you don't know how to do it. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I know it's hard, but that I want to get this straight in your brain, that it's possible and what we're doing is wrong. Chapter 2 is Ibn al-Qayyim's benefits. Lowering the gaze equals more closeness to Allah. Shaitan's far away, your heart's better, your soul's more purified, right? You have the ability to have intuition, to be guided by Allah so that you don't have calamities. And guess what? You have more knowledge. And since all of us are trying to seek Islamic knowledge in some sort of way, I think, because personally, I see a lot of people in the Discord do all these things: increasing iman, going away from shaitan, having easy knowledge. They don't come to the transgressor. The transgressor gets the opposite. Like there was a story from Imam Shafi'i, and I have to proper check this. I'll add extra and edit, but it was a story where he committed some type of sin. I'm pretty sure it's not lowering the gaze, and he literally started forgetting portions of the Quran. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had shortcomings before, and I quite literally felt the same. I literally started forgetting portions. 2-3 days I'd memorized the same 3 ayat. This is an hour and a half worth of memorization. I forgot all of them. So the story of Imam Shafi is completely true. This path to knowledge is harder, so we don't want that at all. I don't want to forget more Quran. It literally becomes a reason why I don't want to have any shortcomings, because I quite literally felt it, and I don't want to feel that ever. Let's not lose these benefits, because if we transgress, we're going to get closer to shaitan. We're not going to be away from calamities. We're going to get further away from Allah. Knowledge is going to be harder to get, and overall, life's going to be 10 times worse. Point number 3 is that this is zina. I don't know why the word zina is just such a buzzword, to the point where for Muslims, zina. No, even for me, it's like a red line. Like not lowering the gaze is zina of the eyes. And Allah tells us not to go even close to zina. Zina of the eyes is still zina. It's classed in the same. Of course, it's not the same severity, so it's still serious. Don't let shaitan, he always lies and just it's not that important. It's just, you're just looking. It's not zina. It is zina. In a minor form, it's still zina. It's still weighty. It's still strong, because it's the beginning. It's the beginning of starting to do all that badness, and it's the trigger to doing something haram. 99%, if you do not lower your gaze one time you will fail at this. You will not only have the sin of the eyes, you will 99% go and do something else haram. Chapter 2 is social situations and in real life. I know it's peak. I've been speaking very harshly because I want to get all these little, whispers of shaitan away from you. It is hard in today's day and age, but Allah did not say that when it's hard we don't. We still have to comply, because Allah told us to, and He has divine wisdom, and we should trust that. If we want to get closer to Allah, if we want to be better men in His path, then that's what we have to do. Everything is against us to a large extent, but we can still do this because we have Allah. And if we have Allah, then everything is easy and it's possible. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, do not follow one glance at a woman with another. Verily, you're excused for the first one, but you're not excused for the second one. You use that as okay, you see the hit marker, you see the enemy, and you know the ornaments or whatever are the hit markers. And in COD, when you're trying to go for a headshot and you just move a little bit and you miss, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to miss the hit marker. So first look to aim, and then immediately move a little bit, right? You're not supposed to friggin' 360 away, right? You don't have to do that. Lowering the gaze can be very simple. All you have to do is miss just a little bit. The same way that you miss a shot in COD, you can miss the gaze, and you can look at the floor. You can, even if you want, if it's really bad, you can turn all the way around, right? sometimes it is really bad and I like literally move my body 180 degrees to be away from it. You're gonna want to do it again, right? You're gonna want to look again because obviously the whispers are gonna come and your nafs are gonna want to see. The first moment you're gonna train yourself over time and it's gonna get easier, but the second point is to continue lowering the gaze. So what I say after that, like miss hit marker, is I say A'udhu Billah or Astaghfirullah, right? Because number one, I'm either asking for forgiveness, which is, why wouldn't you do that? Or I'm seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against shaitan. What I also do is I bring myself into a point of taqwa. The moment you said Allah's name, you completely change the game. Because now you're aware Allah's watching you and watching what you're doing. So if you look again, you're very sure that Allah's watching you because you literally just mentioned Him. We're trying to cultivate a complete reaction. So the first part of the reaction is the missing of the head marker, right? You just poop, miss. And then we're going to say A'udhu Billah wa Astaghfirullah. In that moment, we bring taqwa. And now we can fight jihad al-nafs. Now we have Allah. What you can also do is the next step, which is dua. So whether that means in another time when you've already made the mistake, you ask for forgiveness and you ask that like sincerely. It has to be sincere. You have to really ask for Allah to help you, to really get this away from you. Because Allah can do anything. But also what I do is sometimes I'll maybe close my eyes when I think the whispers are getting really loud and just start asking Allah to assist me. Now we've done the reaction. Card hit mark. A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem or Astaghfirullah, and you start making dua to Allah to make it easy. Please take it away from me, Ya Rab. And then after that, what you can do for yourself is to start humanizing women, because I think songs and the society don't really do that anymore. Like everyone just treats women like objects and it's fine. I don't know why. In terms of porn, don't leave me. In terms of porn, lots of young kids are seeing women as like the object of basically abuse. Like that's it, for whatever you want, right? And that's how they're being programmed to believe they are. So if we can put that humanity back in the woman by associating it to other things that we see as very important, it can help us kind of also give justification against jihadul nafs. Like no, right? Like building that red line again. We have the protocol, now we want to build those red lines. The first red line that I didn't say last time, but I'm going to say this time, is associating it to a creation of Allah. When you defile a creation of Allah, what do you think that makes Allah feel? How do you think that really looks? Because technically, that's a creation of Allah, and you looking at it in an indecent manner and in a disrespecting manner is defiling it. If Allah tells us in rules of war that we cannot harm a tree, how do you think He's going to feel about you defiling this thing that He made? Especially, like, I think most of us Muslims, we will not look at Muslimah. Because A, they make a 10 out of 10 attempt to cover themselves away from exactly what you're trying to do. And number two, they're just Muslims. Like, for some reason, that's just a red line for me. I think it should be a red line for anyone. It's a Muslim. No, no. And we should create that no for everything else. That big thing that really helped me now was saying that, like, I'm defiling Allah's creation. Making it disgusting. How could you do that to Allah's creation? Because now you're hurting Allah. And that fear that you're going to feel every time you do that, because every time you're doing that, you are hurting Allah. You're quite literally defiling His creation. And if He told us not to harm a tree, what do you think He's going to do to us? So this then applies to every single woman, whether she's a kafir or Ahlul Kitab or Muslim. But specifically, we can also add this like respect that we have for the people of the book to the woman as well, right? Maybe you see a Jewish woman, she's also covering her head, right? Again, she's making the attempt, bro. Like, on a real note, if she's trying, don't be stupid. She's trying. It's your job to try as well. And so the same thing even with Christians, which are, it's an elusive thing, but okay. But by elusive, I mean like they don't exactly make much of an attempt. But either way, we can put that humanity back in. Those are the people of the book. Allah told me to respect them. I cannot defile them. And even the same thing for kuffar. Even if you don't know their religion, or you can't see a cross, or you can't see anything, they have parents, man. They have brothers. And you wouldn't like your cousins or your sisters or your mother being looked at in that way. You wouldn't like it. So why are you doing it? Like, I have family members who are women, and I get very uncomfortable with the thought of people looking at them. But like, the more we can humanize them, think about their dad, think about their brother, think about what their dad would say if you told them what you were thinking about this girl, right? Shaitan appeals to your nafs in a very disgusting way. And so we have to really take that part away from us, because we're inclined to evil. Even Yusuf alayhi salam, he asked Allah for help. Like I said, that dua really helps, because even Yusuf alayhi salam, this was his medicine. He asked Allah to protect him because his soul is inclined to do it when it came down to being seduced. The world is being seduced at this point, but we have to follow in his footsteps alayhi salatu wasalam, and plead to Allah, fight against it as he fought against it. And that is the way that we will fight the fitna of women, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, in terms of social situations. Chapter 3, which is online lowering of the gaze. I think this one's the hardest one, and it's something I didn't cover in the other video. That's why this is a full guide. I think that shaitan, we spoke about the zina of the eyes leading into actual zina. And I don't think that for Muslims we normally get that anymore. Like, I don't think us as Muslims, we have that red line. But one thing that Shaitan will try and do to us now, I think the believing men, because he's got the kuffar, he's got the sus Muslims, but he wants us to do it as well. So he convinces us that no one's watching. No one's watching. Just press some buttons on the screen. Just press some buttons on the screen. Because once we get the trigger, once we fail at lowering the gaze, so online specifically will be social media, it will be movies, will be around you, right? And Satan will appeal to you like, oh, let's go watch it, go watch it, go watch it. And it's going to be really strong. So honestly, I think this is the hardest form because it's so accessible that it all has to become your discipline, your purification. There is no running away from it. There is no public shame of looking, right? At least in real life, it's like if you're staring like this, like when you're on TikTok staring, right? People are going to find you weird. Now no one's watching, but Allah is. Satan deceived you. Because we are scared of Allah. We're not exactly so scared of public opinion. We aren't alone. Allah's watching everything. Those deeds still go in your books. Like Salahuddin ibn Ayyub. If you want to destroy a nation, you make nudity common amongst the young generations. And that's what's happening to us. So the protocol for this is number one, A'udhu Billah. When you start hearing those nafs, do it again. The A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem or Astaghfirullah, and do that thing with the dua again. Because you can't run away from the hit marker, right? You either scroll away or you just start asking Allah for help. Sincerely. It has to be sincere. If a part of you wants to do it, how can you ask Allah if you're lying? If a part of you, if your heart has that desire and your heart wants to do it, how can you ask Allah for help? So that's difficult. You have to fight yourself to the point where you gotta want to ask for help for something that you so really want to do. And in time it gets easier, right? Alhamdulillah, it does get easier. But it's very difficult in the moment. So yes, do the same protocol. Scroll away, go away, try and look away, try and put your hand in front of the screen or whatever. And then do the A'udhu Billah. There you've done the hit marker thing. A'udhu Billah and dua, right? Same protocol. But the next part is that if you fail, which likely a lot of us do 2 rakat because of that. Just the not lowering of the gaze. Even if you didn't do something by yourself, do 2 rakats just because of that. I was reading about Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, and when he used to make mistakes, like he did minor sins, he would still do istighfar. Because at least this is the furthest we can go to asking Allah for help. We can ask him, yes, and he can forgive us. But if you really want to show your dedication and you want to create that pain for shaitan, because shaitan doesn't want to lead this to Allah, right? So if we lead ourselves to Allah every time he does this to us, he's probably going to find another angle because he doesn't want us to get closer to Allah. So keep associating this to Allah, and you'll get forgiveness, bi'idhnillah, and you will make shaitan deter his plot. Same thing goes for your triggers, because now it's not a person, it's a screen. So get blockers, and something that Brother Ihsan, and I'm going to link his video down below, it's really good, and mine as well, so that you can continue on this, because in terms of digitally lowering the gaze, it's much more intricate. It's not something I could cover in this like whole lowering the gaze video. In terms of lowering the gaze, we already fought the trigger. Now, the failing at it, that's a whole different thing. And my video, his video is going to be down there. Something called haram block or something like that. I'm going to put the link in the description as well. You'll be scrolling on the internet and like things will automatically be blocked, which I thought was really cool, and I'm totally going to get it now. Block is 100%. And other than that, triggers social media. Get rid of social media. It's the trigger. It's the woman walking in front of you. 9 times out of 10. In real life, it's the woman walking in front of you in a promiscuous way. This is social media. 100%. So delete it, and every single time you like use it and go through a scrolling session, do 2 rakat again, because shaitan is leading you down a path. If you break the path and you go back to Allah, and you break the path, you go back to Allah, you break the path, you go back to Allah, he's not going to want to do that, because you're doing the opposite. If you're rebelling against his plot, he's going to plot differently, right? So that's what's helped me and helped a lot of brothers. I'm not saying you're never going to find a way. Nafs can just come out of nowhere. But if you return to Allah, if you try your best, if you block as much as you can, if you sincerely ask for help, it will get much easier. And you must just fight the rest of the test so that you can be a better man. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do in life. We're here to be tested. If we want to be better men, then we got to take the test. And so this is everything I have on lowering the gaze. It is something that I think a lot of us struggle with. And if you follow these same protocols of the hit marker cod thing and the, taking away of the triggers, you should be able to fight this specific sin head on. If you want to go further in terms of fixing haram habits and watching the haram, there's links from me and Hassan's video, which I think are wonderful to continue. Watch both of them to get the full scope of benefit in terms of fixing this path. If you like this video, please subscribe, inshallah, and join the Discord, as well as just look at any active links in the description. I should be releasing a haram habits course soon, which could be a completely, when I say it's gonna be fixing everything I spoke about today, I'm spending a few months on this, right, bidnillah, to really get it done. So if you're interested in that, links in the description. It should be there this time or later in time. So wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.